My sister expected to live rent-free in my house after refusing to help.
And I bet you live rent-free in her head now.
Ooh, a little backstory. I, 27 female, married my husband, 32 male. We have 2 kids, 11 female and 2 male. 2 years ago, I asked my little sister, who was 20 at the time, and will turn 22 in a month, to come live with us and help out with the kids as I needed. She was in a bad relationship and needed a place to stay. At first, it was for her to get back on her feet since she was getting out of the situation. And by the way, this comes from user GladPrize5340. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we do, so tell us what you would do down in the comments. The initial agreement was that we would pay her $200 per week to watch our 4-month-old at the time, Monday till Friday, 6:30 to 2 p.m. She could use my car anytime she needed, and she wanted an afternoon job, which was totally fine. She happily accepted. A month later, she told us she was getting depressed being inside every day and that she couldn't do this anymore. I told her that was okay. Her mental health was very important, but she should still be able to watch the kids when we needed her to, like on date nights. So we found someone else to watch our kid. Fast forward 2 years later, she works full time, doesn't pay any bills, and doesn't help around the house. Not even washing dishes, taking out the trash, cooking dinner, or buying groceries. Like things the house needs. She provides no help at all. Last week, my husband and I went out for a bit. Mind you, we asked her the weekend before if she could watch the kids, and she said yes. Within an hour of us being out, my husband and I received this message from her. I just wanted to say this to get this off my chest. This isn't an attack, and this isn't me being ungrateful. I just want you guys to try to consider my point of view. My point of view is that I don't appreciate being used as a service whenever it's convenient for y'all. I understand this is all I'm good for, but there are some days where I don't want to come home after a 9-hour shift and watch a baby. I didn't decide to have children, you guys did. The only person who ever appreciates me for it and only thanks me for it is my husband. So it has been building up inside me and causing resentment that my own sister will refuse to recognize my accomplishments because it's what I'm supposed to do. I appreciate staying here rent-free and have appreciated the opportunity being given to me, but I don't feel like I should dedicate my life to you guys. It feels like now I'm being asked to watch the kids like it's already a given and that it's not something I can ever say no to. When I do say no, I'm treated like Voldemort. It feels like an obligation when it should feel like a choice. I felt like the time frame should have been more discussed because I was under the impression I was watching him until 6:30, not 9:30. Thank you again for taking the time to read this. And again, I'm not attacking. I just want to ask for more clarity. Hey, silly, just saying the words "I'm not attacking you" and then attacking them doesn't mean you didn't just attack them.
Yeah.
You said you felt like Voldemort.
I'm also kind of, though, like, low-key, I want more information about what that agreement looked like.
Well, I mean, you've already had the deal has been modified where it was like, first you were watching them all the time and you go, hey, I can't do this. I need more time. I want to go outside. I want less response. And she goes, okay, we'll figure it out. We'll find someone else to watch our kid all week.
Like, why didn't we just have a conversation like that again? My thing is, like, the only way that I'd ever be like, okay, maybe the sister has, like, some, like, correct means, and I don't think she does, is, like, genuinely, if you guys had agreed on 6:30 and you're not coming back till 9:30, that's effed up.
So at this point, that is all she's good for, watching the kids for us for a few hours once or twice a week. The accomplishment she is referring to is getting her high school diploma at the age of 21 because she dropped out a few months before graduating. She still uses my car when needed to go to her boyfriend's house or work. At this point, I am fed up and can't take it anymore. My husband tells me she's my sister and I need to handle it because he's tired of taking care of a grown adult. So would I be the a-hole if I asked her to leave my house and she refuses to watch the kids when needed? And there are comments, but first, I'd just like to say, this whole deal was contingent upon her helping you with the kids.
Right. If she's not going to do that, yeah, get her out.
So I think you can go back and say, hey, this situation is no longer what we had agreed upon. Let's get back to a place that works for both of us, or you're going to have to start helping with the bills around here. Koi Fishy Fishy says, not the a-hole. Here's what you say. It sounds like this arrangement is no longer working for everyone involved, and it's time for you to find other housing. Living rent-free for 2 years while she works full-time means she should have some savings. If she doesn't, that is on your sister. Give her a written notice to vacate with the number of days required by state and or local laws, and she's considered a tenant. Love Lola Hart says, this is the direction I would go. See how much time you're required to give her as notice and ask her to move out by that date with written notification. And if any family members complains about family, tell them that they're welcome to house her for 2 years rent and chore free as well. Talk to me 0701 says, not the a-hole. She says it's a given she'll watch the kids, even though you hired a nanny so she wouldn't have to watch the kids. She has enjoyed your largesse for long enough. Just don't frame it as a punishment. Tell her you're glad you were there for her when she needed it, and after thinking about her text, you can't have her feeling used. You'd like to give her 2 months to find her own place unless she'd like to leave immediately. Put it in writing and don't back down. Don't go back and forth over what was agreed and whether or not you're angry. She doesn't deserve your energy. She's an ungrateful booty butt who has started to not just take it for granted, but is trying to drive a wedge between you and your husband. Only he thanks me, according to her. No, this will not do, OP. She's a drain on your resources, both emotionally and financially. Let her go somewhere. She'll get all the appreciation she thinks she deserves. Ditch digger girl. Yes, this is good. Any discussion of emotions would immediately bet with, you're absolutely right. We have both been getting increasingly frustrated, and we really should not have let this get this far. I'm happy we were able to give you these last 2 years to build up your savings, but I love you too much to let our relationship get strained any further.
Ooh.
Judgment, not the a-hole. And honestly, I get it. Yeah, that little, super genius crafted comment right there is going to deteriorate the relationship.
Yeah.
Because it's obvious.
I like the phrasing of the first, or I think maybe the second commenter's suggestion, and then that one though, kind of mix it in where it's yeah, things aren't working anymore. We're not holding up bargain parts. And because of that, and because I'm hoping to save anything we have, I am going to give you notice, you should move out kind of thing. And that might not do anything.
Yeah.
It might still ruin your relationship. But I feel adding some bit of and it's because I care about you. It's because I love you. But we need distance kind of thing.
Thank you, everyone, for your inputs. That definitely helped me make the right decision for my family. Like many of you suggested I sat her down and I did apologize for not showing any appreciation and the fact that she felt used. And I also pointed out that her watching the kids once or twice a week, it was never last minute, is her only way of contributing to the house. And of course, like many of you predicted, she started yelling that I am attacking her and that I only took her out of the situation to benefit me and not her. I did confirm that the previous agreement was something I thought would benefit both of us, not just me. I told her since this new living arrangement is not working for anyone at this point, and since she doesn't want to watch the kids, she has 60 days to find better living arrangements. She stated she never said she didn't want to watch the kids, and I cut her off, stating that as her older sister, I don't want to ruin our relationship, so it's best for her to find another place to live. She immediately tried to backpedal.
Immediately was wait, I'll watch them though.
Yeah, no, wait. I never said I wouldn't. I just said I really don't like it and that you're abusing me and that I feel like I'm being used. Because her feeling appreciated or not being used, her mental health is very important and it does matter. I even apologize for treating her as my own child, like taking care of her, taking her to all our family vacations for free. I really thought I was helping her, but now I realized I was hurting her. And now she has a great opportunity to grow and live the life she wants to. By the way, we live in San Diego, California. Minimum rent for 1 bedroom is $2,000. I wish her the best of luck. And there are some comments. How did she react to this? Says KM Flushing. OP says she started crying and said this wasn't her intentions for things to get way out of hand. And I told her, we can't go back. Everyone needs to move on. Van Driesen says her actions met consequences and she realized she overplayed her hand. Good for you. That was the perfect response. Your sister will face the real world and enjoy her life like she wanted. And Aid Lucas says, I just read your previous post. She's just upset her free ride is over. Don't put a penny into the house so her money is her own. Doesn't lift a finger to help with chores. Complains when she's asked to watch the kids a couple days a week. She's had 2 years of free accommodation and full maid service with free vacations thrown in. No wonder she's backtracking and doesn't want to leave. Chances are she's not saved a cent from the 2 years of free housing. The term hobosexual springs to mind. And that is the end of that story.
Wow, wow, wow.
There you go. Standing on business. And you go, hey, it's okay. You're going to thank me for this one day. Probably. I know you're upset now.
My father told me I've always been the problem, so I gave up on him.
Well, it takes one to know one.
I'm 23 female, graduated from college last year, and moved back home with my parents while I search for a job. It's been tough. No interviews, feeling unaccomplished, and losing the independence I once had in college. However, I was still actively applying for jobs, networking, and working on myself, so I don't consider myself lazy. By the way, this comes from username BoringIssue2834, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Vincent.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do. I still made an effort to grow and get a job while also struggling with depression and severe anxiety. All I ever wanted was to work hard and for my parents to see me in a positive light. So, regarding the title, for context, my dad and I have always had a complicated relationship. I will disclaim that he never hit me. He worked hard at his job. We have a nice house, and we have never struggled financially. And I've always felt blessed with that. But growing up with my dad, we had good moments, but there was also a lot of tension. He often spoke to me in a passive-aggressive tone, became impatient when teaching me things, and was just always emotionally unavailable. He values respect above everything, but in his eyes, if I slip up once, that mistake defines me, no matter how much good I've done otherwise. I was always a good kid, never partied, never drank or did drugs, never stuck out, always communicated where I was. I always considered myself very kind and compassionate, and I would never intentionally hurt someone. But he would still label me based on small mistakes, like attitude or forgetting to do a chore. I admit when I was a kid and a teenager, I would respond poorly to his aggressive tone of voice, and I would give him attitude right back. But I've grown a lot since then. Since moving back home, I've tried to step up. I clean, grocery shop, and bring him food while he works from home, even check in on him at his office. We've had many conversations about life updates. But it always felt like he was always waiting for me to slip up. If there was something small that I did, like maybe leave the cereal box out on the counter or something, he'll wait until he's angry with me about something else and then bring it up and call me dirty. Keep in mind, he and my mother constantly leave dishes out in the sink and on the counter daily, even after I unload the dishwasher every day. I don't leave dishes out, just a cereal box. Once. He also brought up unrelated past issues from as long as 5 years ago. Completely changed the story of what actually happened to make me look bad. I ignored that part and told him that I was respectful. I do not have a problem with doing what he asked me to do. I will happily do it. I already apologized about the trash and said it wouldn't happen again. So why did it have to keep being mentioned? It was one time. I forgot one time. I continue to tell him that I feel like he still sees me as some bratty kid, no matter how much I try to grow, and won't ever just treat me like an adult. He then got in my face and said, "Fine, you want to be treated like an adult? The second you make another mistake, I'm coming for you."
I'm scared. I'm coming for you? What do you mean?
This is...
What are you going to do when you get here?
Now this is like, you need to get out of this house.
Yeah,
Do you
I'm
have like
scared.
other family that you can live with, or...
It is unreasonable to expect anyone or from anyone perfection. You're going to make mistakes. You're human.
I told him I officially give up. I'm done. He said, fine, and added, relationships go both ways. If I'm the only one owning up to my mistakes and actively trying to change and not you, then nothing will ever be fixed. That's the problem. His response was, "You're the problem. You've always been the problem." It's been 2 months since. My dad has ignored me completely. He communicates through my mom when he needs something from me, but otherwise, he's basically just pretends I don't exist. My mom admits she doesn't agree with how he handled it, and my dad told her he's just backing off because he thinks talking makes things worse, but that he's also hurt that I said I give up and I'm done. In the past, I've always apologized after arguments, but this time I haven't. Apologies never actually fixed things with him. Trying to change and show him my growth as a person has never actually fixed anything. This time, I meant what I said. I've given up trying. Now, I feel anxious in my own home, afraid of making mistakes, and don't feel like I can live in peace in the house. All of this has seriously messed with my mental health, and I feel like the only way to heal is to move out, which is my goal to do in a few months. I know saying I give up wasn't the best choice of words, but I am so emotionally drained, I am at my wits' end. Am I the a-hole?
No, you have a very complicated relationship with your father because of his own issues. That's not saying that you're a perfect person, but I
No.
think it seems much more like your dad has a lot of his own insecurities that he's projecting onto you, and that's not your cross to bear.
Okay, we got an update.
Woo!
I graduated over a year ago with a BA in Communications and Media Studies. After graduation, I spent several months creating an award-winning short film while job hunting. Oh, creative, great. During that time, I worked at a pet store for $12 an hour, applied to jobs constantly, helped at home, and stayed active by taking some training classes. I was never lazy or just sitting around at home, but the job market was extremely challenging, which took a toll on me emotionally, as I felt unaccomplished despite working hard in school. After 8 months of persistence, I was finally hired as an office assistant, where I've now been working for 2 months and saving to move to my own apartment in December. Good.
Wins all around.
Wins all around. My relationship with my dad remains tense. We don't have real conversations, though I still greet him and stay true to myself. I've been battling low self-worth, self-blame, and replaying how I could have handled things differently, which has made it hard to not internalize this distance. I will also mention my mother. Since I didn't mention her much in the initial post, my mom has always been more supportive than my dad and has always tried to be part of my life. She checks in often, gives me advice, and even helps with my dog. She disagrees with how my dad handled things, though she also tells me I was wrong to say I give up. She lectured me about how words hurt and how family is important, and she's sad that I've recently distanced myself so much from them.
I just don't think your mom fully understands this situation either.
Yeah, have you communicated how you feel fully with your mother
Yeah.
as well? She feels caught in the middle, saying my dad and I both acted out of anger and were both in the wrong. She also says that I should be the one to talk to him when I'm emotionally ready and apologize. I said no, not because I am too stubborn or don't care. I have always apologized. Always. Even when I knew I didn't do anything. My dad's will still hold a grudge and not accept it. While I rely on my mom for many things, I've chosen to process this elsewhere. People have also asked if I had anyone else I could talk to. Yes, I do. I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years, congratulations. And he's been my biggest support. Though my struggles sometimes affect our relationship, he helped me recognize toxic habits I picked up from home, and I've been able to identify them too and to fix them. He makes me feel like myself again, and now we're discussing marriage. I spend a lot of time at his place, but remain considerate of his roommates and my parents' rules while I live at home. Also, regarding the New York trip, my boyfriend's brother was getting married there, and his family wanted me to be at the wedding with them. I was initially not going to go because I could not afford to fly. Still, they really wanted me to go there and bought me a round-trip ticket so I could attend the wedding with them. So no, I was not just going on trips without a job or anything like that. I don't do that. In fact, I have never been anywhere on trips without my family. That was my first time, and my boyfriend's family generously paid for me. Regarding family or relatives, I do not have anyone who lives in the state where I live. I do have a sister. She's 10 years older than I am. She lives in another state, though, too. She does not speak to my dad often and only comes home once or twice a year. We were never really close growing up because our age gap, but I reached out to her about everything and she told me she's gone through the same thing at my age and gave me some advice. As far as updates on still living at home, it has been difficult. The first month after the incident was awkward and uncomfortable, and I'm still anxious just coming downstairs. I feel like I've never have time to myself. Someone is always home when I'm home. Someone always has to go in the kitchen when I'm in the kitchen. Someone is just always there. My long commute keeps me away from home more during the week, though, which helps. And while things are still strained, my dad has started greeting me again. One of the main reasons I'm still living at home is that I am fortunate with what I have here. I live in a large house with my own nice-sized bedroom and bathroom, and my mom often cooks dinner and helps me with my dog, sometimes gas and sometimes groceries. This support allows me to save as much as possible so that by December, I'll be ready to take on everything independently. While living at home can be challenging, I'm grateful for her help, and what keeps me going is knowing these challenges won't last forever. By the way, you know what will last forever?
What?
More full episodes of OK Storytime, just like these.
Heck yeah, they will.
Just go to Spotify, Apple, or any other podcast purveyor and search OK Storytime.
We're everywhere.
There's some more updates to discuss.
I think talking to your sibling,
Mhm.
talking to your mom, and then maybe when you feel up to it, having another conversation with your dad that's not ruled by emotion.
How do you feel about them not apologizing and waiting for their dad to apologize?
I think the thing is, I think he needs to apologize first
Mhm.
because of this history of you always apologizing. However, I don't think that means you don't have to, you can't talk to him. I think you can still come to a conversation and say, hey, Dad, I want to talk to you. This is how I feel. This is what you have been making me, or I don't know, this is how your actions have made me feel in the past. Maybe there's a better way to word this. And just have a very frank conversation, not having emotions, or trying not to have your emotions come in.
Yeah.
If he starts saying, well, I don't know, and you go, okay, wait, I just want to finish this point, and then you
Yeah.
can talk. And that doesn't have to mean that you apologize in that conversation, but it does open up a conversation if you want that.
Another update. Right now, I'm focusing on working, saving, and still talking with my mom and my boyfriend and my therapist. I am learning to become my own cheerleader, to stop seeking constant approval from my parents, and to show up for myself. I still feel sadness when I think about the good times with my dad. He wasn't like this every single day, and I always cherish the good memories and moments. He's done many things for me over the years, and I will never discredit that, and I am grateful. But years of brushing aside his behavior have taken an emotional toll on me, and this time I won't be the one apologizing first. I'm open to listening if he ever wants to have a real conversation, though I don't know if things will ever be the same. For now, I'm taking it one day at a time, focusing on my independence, my growth, and the hope that things will keep getting better. Thank you, everyone, for all who shared your advice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good luck, OP.
Good luck, OP.
Familial arguments and relationships can be tricky.
It's tough.
I reported my sister for a HIPAA violation because I've had enough.
Oh, she dirty.
I, 28 female, come from a very dysfunctional and toxic family. I am no contact with one of my sisters, 27 female, I will call her Sarah, and have been for years. There is no repairing the relationship, and trust me when I say that it's for a good reason. My mother, 53 female, is also extremely toxic, so I keep strict boundaries and only speak to her on my terms. By the way, this comes from That Palpitation 3653, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Vincent.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. Despite me wanting nothing to do with Sarah, my mom constantly updates me on her life. I hate gossip and drama. I do not even use social media. And I've told my mother repeatedly that I don't want updates, but she ignores that. The part that has bothered me for years is that my sister works as a nurse at the county jail, and she constantly shares private inmate information with my mom, stuff she could only know from her job as their nurse. My mom then repeats all of it to me, even though I never ask and do not want to know. Examples. She tells my mom when specific people are booked in and when they have blood draws done, even before they're fully processed in the system. Or before the info is made public. She has told my mom about conversations she has had with inmates during their specific medical procedures, which she describes in detail. She has shared details about inmates' cases and all of their personal history. For one individual, she even shared back over 20 years of work history for him and that he used to work at the Department of Corrections, and that is why they never sent him to prison for the spicy sleep offenses and why they kept everything hush-hush. One of the most disturbing examples was when my mom told me not to go to a specific coffee shop because the guy who works there has AIDS. I asked how she knew. She tried to say, I just know. But I called it out again and asked, did Sarah tell you? She admitted yes, and then described the guy in detail. I told her that was deeply messed up, not just immoral, but illegal, and that my sister was stupid for sharing this information to begin with, and that she, my mom, was even stupider and making it worse for my sister by spreading it. Every time I tell my mom it's wrong and that Sarah is violating people's rights big time. But I never report anything because I hate drama, and I do not want to poke my nose in anyone else's business, especially my sister. So I just move on because I genuinely hate drama and want no part of their chaos or my sister's life. I figure karma always catches up anyways. Now for what happened today. A little less than 2 weeks ago, I lost someone, 53 female, incredibly close to me. Someone who was like a second parent. I will call her my other parent. She was in my life since I was 14. Half my life. She passed away unexpectedly in her sleep. I did not tell my mom because I knew she would twist it, victimize herself, or say awful things. There was just no point. I should note that my mom has been diagnosed with bipolar and refuses to take medication anymore. She also claims she does not have borderline personality disorder, but I think she just refuses to admit that. She's the poster child for it. Everyone close to her agrees with this. Today I mentioned I was coming to town for the funeral and casually mentioned the loss. My mother immediately went off saying she was disgusted I had ever referred to her as a second parent. My mother only ever met her a few times. She literally knows nothing about her. Despite that, I stayed calm and respectful, but definitely defended the woman who loved me selflessly and genuinely when my mother would not. So yeah, my mother has a long history of doing twisted things to some of my siblings and me and justifying it as tough love. But the point with all that is my mom was a very big believer about the whole being accountable and teaching us lessons the hard way. At least that's how she justifies her behavior. She states to this day how it was so hard for her to make those decisions and do that to her own children, but how she does not regret it because it is what made us successful today. That's crazy. She's like, I hated that I had to treat you terribly, but honestly, I don't hate it because you deserved it.
That's so messed up.
Yeah.
It's like, I hated neglecting you, but I had to do it to make you the champ you are today.
You're welcome.
The champ. I was a jerk so you could win.
It's like in Guardians of the Galaxy. In is it the second or third movie? I guess the second movie where
one with like Kirk
Peter,
Russell?
where Peter's dad is like, I felt so bad putting that tumor into her head, and then Peter's like, what? That's what it sounds like.
It's a cheap excuse for neglect and inability.
Yeah. Anyways, I tend to view these freakouts with her as basically talking to a mentally ill person. My brother and I came to that realization long ago. That is the only way we can handle it. So I was just going to ignore her and go about my life. But that's when she crossed a line. She sent a text that said she knew about the fact my other parent had passed as soon as it happened. And if that my other parent meant so much to me, I should have been the one taking care of her so her son was not the one who had to find her passed away. That literally made my blood run cold because she had no way of knowing who found her. Not the sister again!
Wait, so now the sister's basically saying, like, the sister's divulging secrets about the investigation?
It seems like it.
Oh, yeah. Screw this lady.
Oh, that,
yeah. I love family.
Yeah, not this family, no.
Is this a no contact situation?
I think it's getting to that point. Because you can't trust your sister with any information, and your mom doesn't take any accountability. You would at least want to distance yourself.
And at least with what your mom said, she's actively trying to hurt you.
Yeah. That information was not public. When it was shared with only a very select few people. The situation is still under investigation. We do not even have the toxicology report. There's only one person who could have told my mom anything that soon or known details about the case. She crossed a line. Not only did she blast personal information about someone I love like that, but she knew about her passing the entire time and never even bothered to check in on me. I stayed calm and replied back to her that I'm thankful for her and all the things I've learned from her, especially the one lesson that made the biggest impact on my life, that accountability matters. When someone breaks the law, you gotta report it, because that's how people learn. Accountability matters more than anything and will make a difference in the long run. Even when it's hard, you gotta do it and report people you love. I said that HIPAA is federal law and that Sarah keeps violating it by sharing protected confidential information.
Yes, it
And that
is.
I was not doing her any favors by keeping quiet about it anymore, that I need to keep Sarah accountable and do the right thing. Ooh, throwing your mom's words right back into her face. I like it.
I love it. It's getting creamy and rich.
Oh yeah, that soup is stirred to perfection.
That's some nice revenge bisque you got going there.
My mom insulted me and said my logic was bad, but I did not respond because I was too busy filing a HIPAA complaint with every single incident documented in great detail. But here's why I'm torn. I don't talk to my sister, but I also don't wish harm on her. Part of me feels guilty because if they take this seriously, this report could ruin her career. And I feel kind of guilty about reporting her because I only did it now because of how emotional and angry the situation made me. Not purely because it was the right thing to do. I am a firm believer of live and let live, and that karma always works things out on its own, and there's absolutely no justification trying to make it happen sooner. So I just feel really grimy about the entire thing. But at the same time, she really has been violating HIPAA for years and still is. Innocent people's medical information and personal business has been spread around town. She clearly does not care about confidentiality. I did not lie about anything I said in the report. It was literally all the truth. Realistically, though, I do not know if anything will come from it. She constantly brags that all the deputies protect her and will not let anything bad happen to her. And her husband is a sheriff too, with the sheriff's department. So realistically, I bet nothing happens and my complaint doesn't even get taken seriously. But you know what is serious? Listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Live and let live. But the thing is, the way she's living is actively hurting people.
It is. That's the
And-
thing. You know that it's been actively hurting people too.
Mhm. And she feels like she can do this because these are people who are in jail. So like when you said innocent people, stuff like, no, they're in jail.
Yeah.
But also, it's so hard to make a life after jail.
Mm-hmm.
But to have that stuff shared on top of it
Yeah.
is just like adding another cinder block to a person who's already
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely. And especially the telling OP that like a man at the
coffee shop.
coffee shop has, you know, an illness that is completely personal
Mm-hmm.
and should not be shared, you know, very personal medical information. And I'm just wondering who else she's telling.
Yeah.
Because if she's telling OP immediately, oh, don't go to that coffee shop, I bet she's telling her friends, don't go to the coffee shop. And I guess all this worrying was for nothing. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I guess 50-50. Part of me does want it to happen, but part of me does not. But I hate drama. I never interfere in anyone's life. But I feel like this crossed so many lines that I genuinely feel morally torn. I hate to admit it, but I think I let my emotions get the best of me on this one. So am I the a-hole? Am I in the wrong? Comment 1, not the a-hole. Think about the guy who was just working at a coffee shop and got his dirty laundry blasted out in public where anyone could have overheard. He deserves basic privacy. Reporting is protecting him and others like him. If she does get consequences, it's because she ruined her own career. Comment 2 says, you're the a-hole for not reporting the violations for so long. You're the a-hole to yourself for keeping in contact with your egg donor after everything she keeps doing to you. My condolences on the loss of your real mother. I really think you need therapy to deal with everything you've been through. Opie says I needed to hear this. Thank you. And that's the end of that story. But yeah, I think those comments have a lot of great points.
That's another thing. Like if someone is doing something illegal and you don't do anything about it, your
Mhm.
inaction can also make you culpable.
Yeah.